Hello everyone, welcome to Durrett's Take. I'm sorry it's been a while since I last posted one. I've been busy with either work or I got, sick again. Maybe it was allergies, I don't know. Either way, I was coughing a lot, so obviously you don't want to do a podcast when I'm coughing a lot. Um, but since, last time I podcast, obviously the Super Bowl happened, so let me talk about that first. So congrats on the LA Rams for the win. They were the better team, which is why I predicted them to win. Um, one of the Rams scored when the Rams scored first. Basically, I knew the game was over. The only part where I started to doubt is when OBJ got hurt in that third quarter because OBJ was a crucial part of their passing game. Um, so I thought maybe that would be, and plus, they're already down to their third straight tight end, who basically caused one of Matt's interceptions. I thought once that happened, they're down a bunch of weapons. I'm like, okay, well, they could just double cup and maybe, this is the break that Cincinnati needed, but nope. LA pulled out. Um, and once the Rams, got that 4th-and-1 conversion on that final drive, I knew that they would score a touchdown. Um, and at the very and then maybe win the game possibly, which they ended up doing. So because Matt Stafford's been doing it all season long, despite being um, hit and miss sometimes when he needed the clutch in the fourth quarter, he was coming through most of the season. So I knew that would happen. Now I am one of the people who thought the holding call on 3rd and goal from the Cincinnati linebacker Wilson was bogus. The reason why, not the call itself, but the reason why is since the refs have swallowed their whistles the whole entire game, you can't just all of a sudden in the final 2 minutes of the game just be like, okay, now we're all of a sudden gonna call a 50-50 tick attack type of foul. It's like no, like you either got to call those type of fouls the whole entire game or keep your whistle swallowed. Now, obviously, if it's like a pass interference like Eli Apple had in the end zone of Cooper Cup, where it's just clear as day, obviously I'm fine with calling those calls. But when something that's questionable like that, especially as they missed a holding call on Jalen Ramsey against T Higgins, early in the game, I just and or they missed the pass interference on T Higgins against Jalen Ramsey. Since they were not calling those type of fouls throughout the game, it's like you shouldn't have called a foul there. So the refs screwed up there, and if I'm like the head person in charge over the refs, I would not have them do a Super Bowl for a while. Um, but either way, like I said, despite that bogus call, the Rams are the better team, so that's why I predicted them to win. Um, to me, here's where Cincy lost the game, though. Besides that play call, back in the first quarter, I didn't like it on Cincy's first drive, and basically at midfield where they decided to go for it on 4th-and-1 because that then led to a short field and a touchdown for the Rams. So I did not like. I understand being aggressive, as we saw with Brandon Staley from the Chargers, being too aggressive can cost you sometimes, or Andy Reid in the AFC Championship game being too aggressive can cost you. Instead, they could just play the field position game, pin them back inside the 10-yard line, and that would have been a better result there. But the other part that really lost in the game was that final drive. Burrow gets a pass to Jamar Chase for 17 yards, first down, and another pass, I forgot to which receiver, for 8 yards. Since 2nd-and-2 with about 140 left or so. And then they decide to do a deep bomb. Now, Chase was able to get, to juke Ramsey, get away from him. So in hindsight, you're like, oh, that ended up being the right play call. But the problem is that the connection wasn't there on where the ball should be placed. So, the ball is obviously way overthrown, out of bounds, incomplete, all that. So you just wasted the play there. And then on 3rd-down-and-2, you decide to run it. And I know you've been running a little bit better in the second half. But hey, it's like running on 3rd-and-2 and having to burn one of your timeouts in that situation is not good. But then also, you use Piron, you use the backup running back. You didn't even use Joe Mixon there. It's like, really? Got to use Joe Mixon in that scenario if you're gonna run. If you're gonna run even at all, you got to run it there with Joe Mixon, not Piron. So that was a stupid play call there. And then on the 4th down, you call a play which it requires Burrow to sit in the pocket for a while and scan the field versus just making sure it's a hike and a quick throw like that, so that way the defensive line doesn't get there, which they have been doing though basically the whole second half of the game. So I'm not sure I'm not sure why Joe Taylor or the offense corner, whoever was finalizing the play there, called that, but that cost you the Super Bowl right there. But in the end, like I'm saying, Rams are the better team. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the coaching hires, since that's all been filled out now, and give my grades for each of them. So let's start with Las Vegas with Josh McDaniels, the Patriots OC. I don't think all coaches who get a second chance will fail once again, because I do believe in second chances. But in this case, I think it will. McDaniels was bad at Denver. Um, Obviously, you have the situation where he accepted the job in Indianapolis and then backed out of it a couple hours later. But that's here or there. But I mean, he's the one who drafted Tim Tebow, thinking he's a franchise QB, which he's clearly not. So he has poor drafting choice, in my opinion, at least for a quarterback. And then the defense is a big issue, and unless McDaniels gets a wizard on that defensive as a defensive coordinator, then I don't see how that's going to improve much. Now he's good at calling plays, and with Derek Carr, that's Derek Carr's an upgrade over Mac Jones. So I can see them scoring some points, which it needs to happen in this tough division against Mahomes, Herbert. But if the goal is hires to be relevant, then this could possibly turn into a passing grade. But if this hire was thinking Super Bowl, then that's why I still give my grades a D, because in the end, I would think the fans want a Super Bowl, which is not going to happen with Josh McDaniels. So it wouldn't surprise me if in another 3 or 4 years they're looking for a new coach. Denver, Nathaniel Hackett, I'm giving him a C. And this is kind of a C for now, because if he lures Rodgers there, then this turns into B, A minus, B plus range. But then if he doesn't, and let's say he doesn't get another viable option quarterback, he has to stick with Bridgewater again, or has to go, rookie, or then it's probably going to stay a C or even be a fail, depending on how that quarterback shakes up, because he has a whole roster there. So really, whoever the quarterback is will determine how good he is. Jacksonville, Doug Pearson, I'm giving him B, actually. So I love this hire, and I thought he was one of the best options out there. Now I know that the fallout at Philly happened, but I blame more Carson Wentz and ownership, especially Carson Wentz on that than anything else. But he won a Super Bowl. Not a lot of active coaches can say that right now. And he's a good play caller. He made Nick Foles look like a starting quarterback, which he's not. Now, I won't see them in the Super Bowl conversations anytime soon. They still might not make the playoffs for the next 3 or 4 years, whatever. But what I can say is I feel like, especially with it being in a weaker division, the Jazz can play spoiler, make some type of noise. But then also, I feel like he will help Trevor Lawrence develop, unlike last year, where Trevor Lawrence regressed basically from college. That's why I feel like, at the very least, Doug Pearson can do is help Trevor Lawrence progress. Chicago, Matt Eberflus. I'm going with the C minus. I felt Chicago needed to hire an offensive guy here for the development of Justin Fields, but instead they got a defense coordinator. So to me, his success depends on who the offense coordinator is, because if this offense coordinator don't run, then the grade goes up. If not, he goes to failing grade. But the problem with this hire is that even if let's say he hires an awesome offense coordinator, well, then that offense coordinator is going to get plucked somewhere else, and you're going to be back from square one. And it's going to be very rare to hire a good offensive coordinator every single time you have to replace one. So therefore, I don't see why Chicago won this. I know defense is their culture and all that, but it's just like they should have gone offense, in my opinion. Minnesota, Kevin McConnell. I gave him a B. So I like this hire. As we've seen with offensive guys from the McVay coaching tree, they have some good results. However, with Cousins as the QB, and the fact that it's hard for a place like Minnesota to get a lot of good top 10 quarterbacks, or a lot of elite type of players and all that. There's a ceiling there, but I do think with McConnell being the helmet, if he's a good player, calling like he's supposed to be, then I feel like, especially with Rodgers leaving the NFC, whether it's now or pretty soon, that he can at least start winning division mostly every year and be relevant in that regard. And he has the offensive weapons there, offensive line and everything. So he has to hire a defensive coordinator, but as long as he can make Kirk Cousins be like Jared Goff, serviceable, if the Rams even get to Super Bowl, then that's all that matters. Miami, Mike McDaniels. I'm going with a D here. He's young and experienced, but here's the reason why I'm skeptical of this hire. He has to make two at work, since that's what the owner of the Dolphins is speaking to the owner. That speaking of the owner, he might have to sell his team later, but as near there. But even if he does, like the GM, Chris Gary's made some good moves, but he's also made some questionable moves. The offense, I mean, maybe it's just a bad, culture, organization in general. So you're not going to go in there and again making Tua work. I know he thinks he'll make Tua work, and since he made Jimmy G work, I mean, he can make Tua maybe serviceable, but it's just like when you're in the same division as Bill Belichick and the Bills, that's just not going to work out. Houston, Lovie Smith. This is my only F of the day. I don't give out many Fs in coaching cycles usually, because that's a little bit too harsh. But this was a bad hire. I mean, this was better than a no experience Josh McCown hire, but this was still a bad hire. I know he went to the Super Bowl once back a very long time ago, and he has plenty of years of head coaching experience and all that. But I feel like he's failed once in the NFL. He's failed once even in college. Although Illinois is not a good football program, but I just feel like if this is the hire you're going to make, then you should have just kept David Coley because A, the players played for him, and B, this hire ain't going to get you anywhere more than you are right now. So you should have just kept David Coley and wait for another better hire. I mean, obviously Brian Flores is the finals. They should have just hired him, but since they didn't, I feel like this is just again a year or two replacement coach fill-in hire once again for the Houston Texans. I feel bad for them. New York Giants, Brian Dable. I'm going with a B minus here. Although this can turn to a high grade. I like this hire because Brian Dable was one of the best options out there. The problem is that, at least for this year specifically, he has to make Daniel Jones work and has a bad O-line. So it's not the same situation as he had with a good line in Buffalo, or at least a decent line in Buffalo, and having a good QB like Josh on all those weapons. All the Giants have some weapons, but I just feel like he's going to look bad to start off. But then if he can get his own QB or a different QB, and it's a substantial upgrade to Deion Jones, then that's where the grade could turn, good, and this can turn into a very good hire. So we'll kind of wait and see on that. But right now, it's not even with this good hire, it's not going to do much for the Giants. Last but not least, New Orleans is David Allen. I'm giving him a B minus. Now, there's a reason Allen was bad as a head coach with the Raiders the first time around. One is he was with the bad owner, culture organization, all that. Plus, he had no legitimate QB. I forgot who the names were, but you should look at the names because it's pretty awful about who our starting QBs were at that time. And then plus, he was just very, very inexperienced. He was kind of like one of those coaches where you get hired too young, you're too over your head, so you kind of need to go back and gain all that experience and then try it for a second time, which is what he did. Being under Sean Payton for a long time and under a good organization, culture. Now he still needs to find, the franchise QB, if you will, because Winston's not a franchise QB. He's just a bridge quarterback. Same with Hill, and then obviously Simeon Booker not the answers. But we'll see how it goes here. He's keeping most everyone on the staff, so continuity is going to be there. I have so again, and Pete Markle's a decent OC. So again, it's just all dependent on what he does at quarterback there. So thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel and tell me about me. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.